Hello, my sweet friends. Your host Shurma here. A very warm welcome, and I'm so glad you chose to join me today. I have a fun project to share with you. That is how to paint the marvelous magenta rose. In case you're planning to create a hand painted floral card for your best friend, then this is the one for you. So stay tuned. Here is the list of supplies which I would be using for today's project. So let's begin with chapter number 1, that is planning the background for the floral painting. For starters, I have two elements with me. The first one is a white note card base, and it is a side folding card, as you can see, and it is around 4.2 inches by 5.8 inches. The next element is a white watercolor piece of paper, and it sits snugly on the white note card base, and it is around 4 inches by 5.6 inches in size. Next, I went ahead and dropped green and pink watercolor on the white watercolor piece of paper and used a stencil to create an interesting background, and that will form the backdrop for today's floral painting. Now, there are several projects in which I have already shown how this kind of a background can be created. Also, if you please click on the I button which appears on the right hand side of this particular screen, that will also lead you to one such project. Next comes chapter number 2, painting the marvelous magenta rose. So here comes the palette for the rose. I have pink acrylic color, medium magenta, portrait pink, orange, deep magenta and white acrylic. And I have a flat brush number 6 in hand, and I'm loading it with pink and white and a bit of medium magenta for the time being, along with a bit of orange. So that is 4 colors on a flat brush number 6. So this is called multi-loading of the brush. I need to blend the colors well for good results. Next, I go ahead and pick up my flat brush number 4, and I have medium magenta and deep magenta on it, and I created a very loose form of the rose. Next, I go ahead and pick up my flat brush number 6 again, and it is loaded with pink, medium magenta, white and a bit of orange. So here I begin with the first layer of the petals of the central rose. This technique of creating the rose is a decorative stroke painting in which I am using more than one color on my brush most of the time, and that helps me to create shades and highlights at the same time. Isn't that interesting? So here is the marvelous magenta rose in the making. The rose happens to be my favorite flower, and in case you have been following me on my channel, then you might have realized by now how much I love roses. Now, roses are a good choice for any flower arrangement, and they are also perfect as gifts for all occasions. Roses can deliver messages to recipients as well, and there is a lot of significance behind the color and name of the rose. I have chosen the color magenta for today's project because it is the color of vibrant warmth. It inspires feelings of kindness, generosity, understanding and love. The complementary color of magenta happens to be green. Now, magenta is also the color of cheerfulness and appreciation. Now, magenta also stands for universal harmony and is known as the color of balance, as it creates a balance between the spiritual and practical thoughts on life. Now, this particular Marvellous Magenta Rose which I am creating will also have a stem. Now, why the stem? Because the stemmed rose represents a love that runs deep and is long-lasting. A long stem rose bouquet can express that extra bit of love and gratitude to someone who is extra special. Hence, for today's project, I thought the Marvellous Magenta Stemmed Rose would be the ideal choice for today's note card. What do you think about my choice? Do let me know in the comments below. I would be very happy to hear from you. So here I am trying to create the folds of the petal which is right on the belly of the rose, and I am using the corner of my brush to create those highlighted petals. That little piece of black scratch paper is for resting my fingers. Here I am trying to correct the shape of the petals because they need to be harmonious with each other and also totally balanced. Whenever I need to highlight a certain area, I go ahead and add more of acrylic white. Here I'm trying to create some more folds to add interest to the flower painting. These little extra somethings just add more life to the flower. Don't you agree? Here I have picked up my liner brush and I'm adding more of white acrylic to the folds. And there you go, the flower painting is ready. That leads us to chapter 3, that is painting the rose stalk and the leaves. Here comes the palette for the leaves. I have sap green, medium magenta, deep magenta, olive green, burnt umber, bamboo green and white acrylic. And I have a flat brush number 6 in hand and I'm loading it with sap green, bamboo green, white acrylic, more of bamboo green. So that is 3 colors on the brush right now. You can add as many as you wish. This is again multi-loading of the brush. Before I go ahead and create the greenery around the rose, I went ahead and printed a sentiment within the circular space which I had left blank. Next, I bring in my liner brush and I have sap green and olive green on it, and I'm just painting around the petals of the rose only in the bottom part. And I'm spreading the color with the help of the acrylic retarder. Next, I bring in burnt umber on my liner brush and I'm trying to create some stalks. Now this is the main stalk which is connected to the central rose. I'll be creating some more stalks around it. And that will help me to understand where to create the leaves. Now this particular stalk goes around the circle. I'm trying to see how to place it correctly. So once happy, I go ahead and pick up my flat brush number 6, and I have sap green, olive green and bamboo green as well as white on it, and I am trying to create pretty decorative style of leaves. I tried to create a fold, and I will come back to it in a bit. Some more big leaves on the stalk. At this point, I added a bit of deep magenta on one side of the brush, and I am going over some of the leaves again, and that will help me to make them darker as compared to the other leaves around it. Can you see the difference between the purplish leaves and the only green leaves? Yeah, that is very stark in real life, although you may not be able to see much right now, but it looks pretty. Here is a little bud which I am creating with medium magenta and white on a flat brush number 4. Some more buds just to add a little more interest to the painting, because there's only one central rose that is large, and the tiny buds help to make the floral painting complete. Some vines here and there with the help of sap green on my liner brush. Once happy, I go ahead and add some white to the burnt umber of the stems to create some highlights. Next comes the flower center, and I started with a bit of deep magenta, and then I go ahead and create some dots with the help of yellow acrylic on a liner brush. Now the panel seems to be ready. Next, we have to assemble the note card. Right now I have a white note card base, the painted panel, but I have added one more element, that is a black cardstock cut to size, and it just frames around the painted panel, but only on the left side. You will see in a bit. There you go. I just wanted a very fine frame peeking out from the left side of the note card. So this is how it looks. That's a wrap on today's project. Hope you had fun watching me create the marvelous magenta rose on the note card. Do leave your comments in the box below, and it would be very special to read your thoughts about today's tutorial. Please follow me on my social media handles, and it would be a great pleasure to be in touch with you. Thank you so much for all your support and love you give to my channel, and that means a whole lot to me. And also, thank you for being so patient and being with me till the end. Here are some of my past floral painting video tutorials in the same technique as I did today. Hope you will enjoy them as well. We'll be back very soon with more floral painting video tutorials. Till then, stay tuned, take care of yourself, and bye-bye.